In this tutorial, we are going to go over the sync function. Now, sync is really a powerful collaborative tool. And if you go ahead and click on the drop down, you'll see there's net sync, browser sync, desktop sync, and then there's these items below this line right here. And this is for what we call app sync. So you can sync any application that you're working on with the users in the session. So let's get started here and go through some of these examples. Now, within XHANDU, when you go from website to website to website, let's just go to one of our saved sites here. All of the users within this session are taken to the same page that you have gone on. Now, the difference, though, is that not everyone is scrolling in the same place. For example, if I was looking at this section of this page, any of the other users, let's say I was doing this with two other users, one user can be on their computer looking at this section, and another user could be on their own computer looking at some of the reviews. Now, this is great for being able to have three minds taking a lot of information at once and finding out different things. Now, if there was a review that came up here that wasn't good, or one that they really wanted to see, like this one looks interesting, what a user can do is go up to our sync drop down and hit net sync. When net sync is chosen, now all the users in the session scroll together. The next sync option you see is browser sync. Now, browser sync and net sync are pretty similar. When we do engage in browser sync, you don't necessarily see a difference here, but what has happened now is that you've synced the entire browser of XHANDU with the other users in the session. This can be useful for an array of different things if you want to unify the functions within everyone that's within the session. Going from site to site to site might be easier this way. It's just another layer of removing boundaries within this technology that we added to put in there. But you'll see it's a very similar function as NetSync, as browser sync is engaged for all of the users. We can go ahead and end browser sync. The next sync that is important to look at is desktop sync. Now, I do want to put a disclosure here. Desktop sync, not only, it's not like the desktop syncs that you may be used to from other collaborative softwares. This desktop sync not only syncs the visual of your desktop with all the other users, it allows all of the other users access to all of the functions within your desktop. So when you choose desktop sync, what you're doing is giving all of the users within a session control and access to every piece of your computer here. So it's very important to note that when you do this, this is with a group that you're expecting that to happen. So just be aware. Like for example, I have my Finder open here with access to all of my apps here and different files and everything like that. And it is important to know that when you are in desktop sync, again, all users within the session can access this. Now, that's not to be just a warning. This is also a very helpful tool in specific situations. One in particular would be an IT help desk situation where a user needs help from the IT department or the IT company that they work with or the help desk company that they work with. And instead of the IT professional sitting on this computer for hours trying to troubleshoot maybe what the user did or trying to repeat what had happened, the user can now show in real time the IT professional what exactly they clicked on, and they can go through it together while both having their own simultaneous control. So that is extremely helpful in terms of the tool. But again, desktop sync just syncs your entire desktop. So in short, you are syncing your entire machine to the other users of the session. So that's how you use desktop sync. It's just the drop down, select desktop sync, and then you have gone ahead and synced your desktop. Now, I do want to, we're going to unsync here. I do want to go over, again, what we call app sync or application sync. Now, what application sync is or where it's located is still in this drop-down menu, but anything below this line, it shows any of the applications that you have open that are available for sync. So you'll see here we have XHANDU, which is open right now, which we don't need to sync XHANDU, but what I do have open is Photoshop. So I have Photoshop open here for designers. Maybe this would be an AutoCAD, or you can do an Adobe Illustrator or Adobe Muse if you're designing websites, or Adobe After Effects if you're going to be working on some animations within a collaborative group. So this is a phenomenal tool to help speed up the design and project timeline for your teams to be able to work faster and more efficiently. So let's go ahead and click on Adobe Photoshop. And you see my Photoshop does appear normally as if I were using it. And the other users within the session are seeing the same window, and then they just have a sync bar up here. It says that it's a synced window. Now, any user can now use this, all the functions within Photoshop. And so I can just select a file, or I can start a new one. If we start a new one, we get to choose our artboard size. And we have a square artboard here. And all of the functions are available to all the users. They're able to do anything that I'm able to do on my machine, they can do as well. And so it is a very, very unique collaborative tool that everyone has their simultaneous control. So if you had a photo that you were editing with a group of photographers within your firm, you guys can then do things instead of saving it, sending it to them, they open it, they look at it, they make their edits, save it, send it back to you, you look at it, make your edits, and we don't do that anymore. With XHANDU, we're all able to look at the file at the same time, make the edits that we want to make the changes that we want to make. And here is a quick clip of Photoshop being used between 3 users to make a very basic logo. And you can see the 3 users are all able to manipulate the different tools within Photoshop. Don't judge the quality of the logo here, but just take a look and see how it drastically reduces the time for the logo creation, and everyone's able to add their input. Great. And now you guys can, in order to end the sync, again, you can just click the End Sync button, and everything is out of sync now. So that is the sync feature. Again, you can sync any application. And what's important to note is that this is only going to allow you to sync applications that are open. So I had Photoshop open prior to doing this. If I wanted to sync something else, we could do Muse. We could open Adobe Muse here. And now that we have Adobe Muse open, we go over to Sync, and there you see Adobe Muse and the website that we had opened. So that is a quick run through of the sync function. If you have any questions, please send our support an email, and we will be happy to help you out.